It is 4:30 in the morning. Well, 5:30 in the morning now. 5:30 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. Guess what? I've been up all night and I'm feeling like a little adventure. Just so happens I've got a 1250 Sportster that works now, so adventure's on the menu. Can't have this fresh 1250 just sitting around and not use it when you're sitting there going stir crazy in your bedroom and you know it's just sitting right outside. It cannot be ignored. Oh, yeah. A bike like this, you don't ignore it for long. 400-mile round trip this morning, 5:30 a.m. That's just what I need to finish breaking this thing in and change the oil. And I am really, really ready. As much as I love this right now, I'm ready to start wringing this thing wide open and experience the full potential of what's been done to it. Whew, let's go, baby. We are Daytona bound. 5:30 in the morning, doing an 8-ball run coast to coast. Let's rock and roll. Orlando's a lot easier to deal with at 6:45 in the morning. Anything after 9 a.m. though, and where I am right now is just a freaking parking lot. Orlando is absolutely one of the worst cities to drive through in America. Now, I'm not saying it's the worst. I have driven through Atlanta and Los Angeles, but it's up there. Riding into the sunrise, much preferable than riding into the sunset. Any day of the week, baby. Well, I'm back home. That trip to Daytona didn't exactly work out as planned. More on that in a second. One thing I have found out during the break-in period of this 1250 kit is that a 1250 kit with Buell heads on a Sportster gets pretty much exactly the same amount of gas mileage as an 883 Sportster on the highway. Because the only real difference is besides 87, which is, I mean, come on, man, 87, that's what God puts in his motorcycles. Besides having to put 93 in it now, there's literally no difference. And I could probably put 87 in it. I know it's higher compression and I don't want to risk it. And it's still getting like 35 to 40 miles a gallon with the 1250 kit making close to 100 horsepower as opposed to like a 30-some horsepower 883. 2.5 gallons on 83 miles. I think it's actually getting better gas mileage than the 883 was. Of course, this has all been break-in period, and now that it's broken in, whoa! I can imagine now that it's broken in, I can do that. That gas mileage is going down a little bit. Of course, I'm going to be easy, a little easy. Still haven't done its break-in oil change yet. Gotta freaking look inside that oil filter, make sure it's not full of freaking, not full of horsepower glitter. With that front end from traction, suspension, and those 15-inch shocks in the rear, still don't know how far you can turn this thing before I either run out of talent or it runs out of tire. As far as the ground clearance goes, you're gonna run out of one or the two, okay? Ground clearance, that one's running out last. And if I'm being honest, talent's probably running out first. You aren't scraping. It's not happening. This thing is so freaking tall. When you lean over you can lean over so far. Like something's running out before ground clearance does. Take your pick. And when you're on knobby tires and you've got the lean angle of like a MotoGP bike, you gotta really check yourself because now it's all up to your personal responsibility to not lean too far and not the bike to tell you when to stop. Yes, Daytona, that ill-fated trip. Well, let me tell you what, man. Being awake for 24 hours, getting in a manic mood, and deciding to drive 200 plus miles across the state, not the best idea. Now, sometimes I have those ideas and I make a video about it and they turn out great and it's an amazing adventure and everyone's like, damn, I wish I could do that, Josh. All your crazy manic adventures, they turn out perfectly. And sometimes it turns out like this one, which was a total freaking dud. I left here about 5 o'clock in the morning. I got to Daytona. Nothing was open yet. Nobody was at any of the booths. Everyone was pretty much still sleeping off Saturday night. So I kind of just was waiting around and getting more and more tired by the minute. And also when I left, my back was already hurting. If you guys didn't know, I suffer from severe sciatic problems. And also I got problems in my neck and my shoulder. Those are actually manageable on long trips if I remember to bring my cowboy cure. Cowboy cure now available. It's a topical pain reliever. It was made us, tested by us, and made in the United States of America. And you can order some right down below. Trust me, I don't just sell this stuff, I also use it, and I forgot it at home. So by the time I got to Daytona, what started out as minor pain in my back was soon becoming major pain in my back. Couple that with getting tired and waiting around, and all of a sudden I sat there for about an hour and a half and I realized I was so tired and I was in so much pain and I didn't have my cowboy cure to help me out. Even if I ran into someone I knew, which is why I went out there, I'm just gonna walk around and see if I can run into some good folks that are out at Daytona. Even if I do run into someone I know, I'm so tired and I'm in so much pain, yeah, I'm gonna be miserable company, you know? I'm not gonna want to talk to them. I'm just gonna be miserable. So instead of inflicting my miserality on anybody who I happen to know at Daytona, just decided to take a 200 plus very miserable ride back home, where I hit traffic on 3 different occasions, was falling asleep. The only thing keeping me from completely falling asleep on the motorcycle was the fact that I was hurting so bad. Not a great combo. So let me tell you what, Mr. Manic Pixie Dream, I go on these crazy motorcycle adventures at the drop of a hat at 4:30 in the morning because I have so much freedom. You know what? They don't always turn out good. And that one definitely turned out really, really badly. I mean, not really badly. Turned out really badly. Would have been a breakdown or wrecking or something like that. But just definitely like, bleh. It was not a good trip. So guess what? They aren't all amazing. And I sure as hell I'm going to show you, well, there's nothing to show. That's why I didn't film it. I'm sure as hell going to tell you about the ones that don't turn out amazing, because it's just as important to talk about that as it is the ones that just totally kick ass. I can't sit here and pretend that my life is all just freaking sunshine, jelly donuts, titties, and rainbows, okay? I'm just a rain cloud every once in a while. And I don't want anyone to think that this is so freaking easy. It's not easy for anyone to just go at the drop of the hat and just take off. It's a little easier for me because I'm a little bit of a solitary creature. There's no girlfriend waiting for me at home. There's no dog that I gotta feed. I don't even have a goldfish. A lot easier for me to do something like this, but it still doesn't always turn out okay. But as the old song goes, look away, hard times, they are soon forgotten. We're off to see the Weems, the wonderful Weems of Oz. That might actually be a couple songs mixed together, but we're going to hang out with Weems because nothing put a smile on your face like a good friend, a nice hug, and some time spent in the company of a true wizard. I might be a swamp wizard, but Weems is a true wizard. So let's go spend some time with him. Whoa, Nelly. Places where lane splitting isn't legal, you're always in a little more danger when traffic suddenly stops like that. Not from rear-ending somebody. If you rear-end somebody, that's your own damn fault. You're in more danger from somebody rear-ending you. So I'm not really a great motorcycle rider, I would say. I would say that I'm just like, just aggressively average. I am an aggressively average motorcycle rider, but one thing I always make sure to do is that even when traffic's just stopping normally and I'm not sure what the guy behind me is gonna do, I always get off to one side and check my rearview mirrors, make sure I'm not gonna get rear-ended, and especially when it stops fast like that. I don't know if they teach that in the motorcycle class or not. I never actually took it. What I do know is I've been rear-ended before, and I aim to never let that happen again, dude. I got hit by a Range Rover, went over the hood, ended up going through the windshield. That was actually before I started making YouTube videos. Not long before, but before. And I aim to never let that happen again. So I always try to keep an eye on what's coming up behind me. And if you guys were wondering why I have so many back problems and my sciatica is so messed up, you know, a lot of it rests on the shoulders of that Range Rover there, okay? That's a big reason that I'm in so much pain today. Although I will say in my own defense, it's not because I wasn't checking behind me. I was actually turning left at a red light with no other cars around, except for the one, you know, oncoming that I was waiting to go before I turned left. And I don't know if they were looking at their phone, looking down or whatever, but they actually, through a long turn lane, blew right into me. So I think they were actually going to blow through the whole stoplight in the turn lane. But that's how it went down, you know. It wasn't just a normal traffic stop where I should have been checking behind. Up here at Weems' house. That's the wonderful Wizard of Weems. The wonderful Weems of Oz. That's the only way I can remember to put the S on the end, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, we're making up a song. Yeah, the wonderful Weems of Oz. Yeah. Anyway, this will all be blurred out because you can't see this bike yet. There's going to be a big reveal coming up after the Forgotten Angels camp out. So let me, the editor's note, which I'm the editor, blur that out. This one we don't have to blur out. This is what Jared Weems and his daughter are doing. This is the daddy-daughter build. Nothing on this has to be blurred out, right? Nope. 1970 Triumph T100 Tiger. First bike for her, so stoked about it. She's been helping do all of it. If you over to our YouTube channel, you can see all of it happening. Super cool. It is super cool. She's learning how to weld. She's learning how to grind, how to paint. You know, welding and grinding. Well, I got to do a lot of grinding when I weld. Oh, it's funny, as your daughter's about to be a better welder than I am. Of course, she didn't have far to go. Anyway, make sure you watch this. This bike is getting built for a show. Daughter Weems' very first build, and I will tell you, probably the most wholesome content on YouTube. So make sure you go check that out. It is, it's true. Make sure you subscribe to Jared, man. Subscribe to Weems Motor Co., the wonderful Wizard of Weems.
Wizard of Weems.
Wizard of Weems, Weems the Wizard? I don't know, something like that. I was like, dude, I might get the Swamp Wizard part, but Weems is an actual wizard. Anyway, make sure you go subscribe to him and keep an eye out for the Iron Head reveal, and there's something back there. Can't look at that either.
You can. That video will be coming out probably in a week. I don't know when your video's coming.
All right, well, I'll leave it off there. I'll leave it off there for now, but you guys will see soon enough if you're following Weems' channel.
Yeah.
Tell them old Shadetree sent you. It's always nice hanging out with the wonderful Wizard of Weems. The only way I can remember to put the S on it anyway. But now it's time to, well, actually, it's time to drive by the Raft Factory and not pick up anything because I forgot that they're closed on Mondays, so I guess I will not be picking up all the stuff I need to change the oil on the Dirtster. Whoops. Dude, the pollen. The pollen. You know what it feels like? How's this for an obscure reference? All the pollen falling down. It feels like we're in Dragon Riders of Pern.
What the fuck is that?
Dragon Riders of Pern. You don't know Dragon Riders of Pern? Falling? No? Dang, dude. I thought you were a nerd, Shay. There's all my nerds in the chat know about Dragon Riders of Pern. Literally no one. Like one dude who read those books in the chat is going to be like me. If you see someone in the chat who says they know about Dragon Riders from Pern, make sure you comment under their comment that they're a nerd. You can also call me a nerd too. Oh, hey, would you look at that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, we're going to have to remake that mount. That broke, didn't it? It literally was just like, oh, it looks a little low. And I was like, oh, that is completely broken off.
At least it didn't happen while we were riding.
Yeah. Is that aluminum or steel? That's crazy that that broke like that.
What was it connected to before?
Just these two bolts right here. I mean, it's the vibrations, surely, that did it. But I'm just like...
Damn, don't even really need a headlight for you.
I mean, not right this second. It's not very dark out. I can unplug them. We're going to deal with this later. We're gonna have to weld that later. I'm glad you brought the welder back. All right, well, now we're on a time frame. We got to be back before it gets dark. Let's go ahead and add re-weld my headlight bracket to the list of things to do to the Dirtster right now. Did not expect that to happen. That was definitely a surprise when that came off in my hands. Anyone else have that break off before? I mean, obviously it's an aftermarket headlight bracket. I wonder if I hit it against something and cracked it, or if it really was just, I mean, vibrations of these bikes, especially when you take them at high speeds for many miles, which they really weren't meant to do. They kind of supposed to be in-town bikes. They're not really touring bikes. I mean, you can't tour on them, but they're not really touring bikes. I've seen weirder things break off because of vibrations, but I did not see that one coming. Fucking just Harley things. Or can break it off mounts, or can randomly just Harley things, baby. I got another trip coming up on the Dirtster. I wonder how that's gonna go. Right now, Diplomat is building the Dipster. He's also building a pre-2003 rigid mount raw dog off-road Sportster, so we can go on this adventure together. And it's looking like it's gonna be dicey, but we wouldn't have it any other way. You know, it's something else when this part of 275 is I-4 is blocked up at noon. I don't want to be the guy who complains about traffic, but holy mackerel, dude. It seems like in the last year, it went from like being pretty bad during morning and afternoon rush hours to it's just all day long now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't stop being busy till about, I don't know, midnight. To Best Buy, man. I feel like anymore Best Buy is just like this hollow husk of what it used to be, yet we still go up here for stuff every once in a while we need it. It's kind of like that giant monster that they were mining, what was that, in Guardians of the Galaxy or something, where there's just this giant space creature out in the reaches that's been long dead, and all the little creatures are swarming over it and pulling out anything that's still worth some money. That's what Best Buy feels like to me, because you go in there and literally like 50% of the shelves are bare. Mission accomplished at Best Buy. See? Adventure! Every day's an adventure on the Dirtster, baby. You can run over anything, you might break down, your headlights might fall off, whatever you want. It is a hot March day here in Florida, so after that trip to Best Buy, sitting here on the interstate, baby, I think it's time for a beer before I go home and... Wait, what's going on up here? Don't be doing nothing crazy, man. All I want to do is go get a beer. I get a beer before I start welding. I can't weld without a beer in my system, okay? And I've already promised myself that all the beers I drink at home will be low-calorie beers. Ugh. Mick Ultra, so I only get to treat myself with a good beer when I'm out now. And no, I don't count Miller High Life in the good beer category, but it's certainly a damn sight better than Michelob Ultra, man. Dude, Ultra's got the low calories, but holy crap, dude, I don't know what else they left out of that beer, but it just tastes like bad water, man. It's so bad. It just tastes like the water that's like left over on the brewery floor after everything else is done that they usually hose off into the drains. It's the drain water from a regular brewery. It just is freaking terrible, dude. It's still beer though, and even a bad beer is still beer. It's kind of weird how it works that way. Dude, why do these people hate monkeys so much?
No, I'm trying to go back to Monke.
Dude, I want to go back to Monke too. A simpler time. Now I have to worry about stuff like taxes and vehicle registration. All I want is to smash nut with rock. All I want to do is insert sticky stick into ground and eat ants. Sounds way better. As long as we still get motorcycles. Monkeys can ride motorcycles, right? I'm gonna say yes. This is my fantasy. They ride motorcycles. Let's go back to Monke. All right, just had a golden lager to start with, a European style. Look, they do European styles here. This is going to be black lager. They say a Czech style dark lager, so looks black to me. I don't know if that means it's like a German style Dunkel, except it says Czech style, or like a Schwarzbier, or something in between. That is so good. That's actually great. Did you try your suntan lotion?
Which one is that?
That one, that's the suntan lotion. That's pineapple, lime, coconut.
It's delicious.
Is it delicious? Do you really like it?
Yeah, it doesn't taste like suntan lotion at all.
If only you could stomach being drunk. I don't think you like being drunk.
No, it hurts my tummy.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not even
If I
that.
drank that whole thing, I'd be like, ooh, bellyache.
So with Shay, it's not even that she can't drink the beer or that she can't find something she likes. With beer, there's something for everybody, trust me. It's that it literally hurts her tummy, but she could taste it. Anyway, we're at Magnanimous Brewery and this beer is great. You know what magnanimous means?
Like big, right?
No, like generous.
Generous.
Like kind-hearted. I think there's connotations of it being generosity from somebody who has a lot, like a magnanimous king. So the connotations of somebody who's magnanimous is not just being generous and having nothing, but having plenty and being in a position of power, but still being generous.
So why they named their brewery that?
I don't know. I never asked. Words always have connotations. I love words. English is so cool. A word can mean something. You could say magnanimous, but the connotations behind it are always there. Not only does she not know about Dragon Riders of Pern, but I just hit Shay Lisi with Esperanto. My father used to speak, my dad, who's a weird Maestro Yakabuchi, used to speak Esperanto. Not very good. Or well, rather. But a little bit. Leave something in the chat in Esperanto if you know about it. Good beers at Magnanimous. Instagram moments over here with all this street art. I saw someone just graffitiing on street art the other day, and I thought that was the funniest thing. There was a picture of a guy's face. I think it was Dali, Salvador Dali, a portrait of him, and this guy was drawing tattoos all over Dali's face. And I was just like, okay. Go on though. I mean, this is on the side of a building and somebody painted it there. Why should you not be able to mark on it and draw little tattoos on his face? It seems like pretty much the same thing to me. Well, it's Tuesday, which means I can go get the parts I need, which isn't really parts. I just need an oil filter and oil for the Dirtster from the Ride Factory. And yeah, I could have gone and gotten it from Cycle Gear yesterday because the Ride Factory was closed, but you know what? You got to support your local motorcycle shop. And while Cycle Gear certainly comes in clutch a lot of the time, at the end of the day, if I can buy it from the Ride Factory instead of Buddy Bezos or Cycle Gear, I do.
It's a smart art.
Well, it's time for something that I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for a package. I'm pretty excited about it. Most of you guys know my Schuberth Neotech 2, what I've always considered to be probably the best helmet I've ever put on my head. It's the only helmet I've ever bought two of. I've spent more time in a Schuberth Neotech than any other helmet out there, and in my opinion, it's worth every penny. There are a couple of drawbacks. One, it's not the coolest helmet in the world. Yeah, it's a modular, so yeah, definitely dash down, not the coolest helmet, but not the coolest helmet in the world because it doesn't, a lot of modulars suffer from not moving a whole lot of air, so during the summer it can get kind of hot. And the other thing is it gets loud. This is with any helmet, when they start to wear out, they just get loud. It starts out quiet, gets loud. Now, my last Neotech I had for like 3 years. This Neotech, I was getting kind of frustrated with it because I've had it for about a year now and its slap wore out. It's exhibiting all the same things my other Neotech did when I finally replaced it, which is just the pads, they just get so loose that the helmet moves around on my head to the point that it just drives me insane. I'm starting to get ruined. You know, I've just sweat so many How many gallons of sweat I've sweat in this helmet, I don't know. But enough that all the interior stuff on it's ruined. And I actually looked online and I couldn't find any Neotech pads in my size anywhere. I actually found Neotech 1 pads. I couldn't find any Neotech 2 pads. I don't really like buying helmets. Helmets are insanely expensive and I was pretty pissed off that this was wore out during the year. Then I realized that on top of using it every single day, like I only got 1 helmet besides my dirt bike helmet. Well, 2 helmets now that I bought that HJC, but this is another story because I really don't like it. I actually realized that I've been on 3 cross-country trips with this helmet, multiple other trips out of state. Like this helmet has seen some action. It probably saw in a year what my last Neotech 2 saw in 3 years. So it's not really that crazy that it's wore out, but it is frustrating. Anyway, I couldn't just replace the pads, so I decided to get a brand new helmet. And I'm very excited about it because like I said, once a helmet really starts to wear out, for me, they drive me nuts. Just the way they move around and the way the pads are after they have been sweated on so many times and washed so many times, just the fabric just starts to drive me insane. So time to retire the Neotech, just not having a great time wearing it. Fool me once, shame on me. Wait. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, I did it again, boys. I don't know if this is gonna be any better than the last time around, because the last time around was definitely not very fun. Baby, we're going Schuberth again. Neotech has been out for a long time. I really keep hoping that Schuey will release a Neotech 3. Like, it's way past due for a Neotech 3. This has been unchanged for so many years, and I don't know, I like experimenting. I like trying something new. I got burned on the Schuberth before. I had the C3 Lite, not the C3 Pro, and I thought it was one of the worst helmets I've ever worn in my life. This is their brand new helmet. This is the C5 Pro. Probably one of the most expensive helmets you can buy. Sure, there might be some sort of special edition other helmet that costs more than this one, but this guy is up there. Literally, I use my helmet every single day. I live in Florida, we ride year round. I skimp on a lot of things. There's a lot of places I try to save money. A helmet is not one of them. That's not even for safety reasons. For a lot of people, they're just like, well, my safety, I'm not gonna skimp on my safety. For me, that's not even it. I do dangerous shit all the time. For me, it's purely a comfort level. If I have to wear this every single day, I wanna like wearing it. And as you can see, we've continued with one that looks almost like that. I like the tricolor, man. I like the red, white, and blue. Schuberth had this colorway available. There was an open box available, and I got a little bit of a discount on it. So we're gonna try out Schuberth again. This will be the 3rd Schuberth helmet that I've owned. I had an older one that I really liked, but again, it was an open box that I got, and it was because Schuberths are wildly expensive. Retail price on this helmet, I think, is like $800. It's insane. I got it for about 150 bucks less than that, which is still insane. That's the same way I got my first Schuberth. The problem was it was a 3X, and I really take a 2X, and I was like, I could just make the 3X work, and wore the helmet for about a year, and it really wasn't working, guys. The 3X was just way too big for me, so I had to end up replacing it, which is how I got my first Neotech 2. But I liked that first Schuberth. That first Schuberth I had, I loved it. It was so quiet, like just like riding in a Lincoln Town car, just no noise at all. It was very, very nice to wear, especially on long trips, before it started to just drive me nuts because it was too big for me. The second Schuberth I got was a C3 Lite. That was the worst helmet I've ever worn in my life. Schuberth should be ashamed of themselves if they put their name on that. After that, I heard from a bunch of other people that the C3 Lite was literally like a total piece of crap, that Schuberth was just trying to put out a mid-level helmet. This is not their mid-level helmet. This is their top-of-the-line lid. This is the nicest, newest, best helmet you can buy from Schuberth on the market, period. Damn. That is substantially lighter than my Neotech. Like 0.2 pounds lighter or something, but it feels substantially lighter. Anyway, I can't give you a review right now because I've never even put the thing on my head, but so keep your eyes peeled for that. I like to wear things for a while before I review them, so don't expect a review anytime soon. After I've worn the helmet for like 4 or 5 months, I'll probably give a review on it. Fingers crossed on this one. It was a pricey lid. Well, that's enough about helmets. In order to use a helmet, we gotta have a motorcycle that actually rides, right? Well, I mean, it does ride, but we still got a few things left to do to the Dirtster. Project Raw Dog has definitely got some fine tuning to do. We gotta fix that headlight mount, which I've got a plan for, and I've also got a rebuild kit for the rear Brembo because it's just not working as good as I want it to. I got it used, probably should have rebuilt it when I got it, but I didn't. So whose fault is it that it has to come apart now? It's my fault. But hey, man, better late than never, right? Well, let's see if we can do this even a little bit better. And I think I can make something stronger that won't break again. I feel like there must have been a flaw in it already for it to break like it did. It just seems like a very odd piece to break off. And you can see that this side is rusted. So since that tells me since this side was rusted over here, that this broke a long time before this side did. So it was probably just hanging there off of one for a while. This Sportster hasn't exactly led the easiest life, so it's certainly believable that at some point the headlights could have gotten hit very hard. Like every other Harley handlebar mount, these are about 3.5 inches eye to eye, so let's make a new piece for back there. Once again, this is why you have 2 grinders. These 2 pieces of metal have become 1 piece of metal. Ooh, that's hot. I don't know if that's supposed to be full of water. What the fuck? Anyone else have built well risers? Is that normal? That always happen? Yikes. It's ugly, but I don't see why it won't hold. All right. Who out there remembers the first oil change this Sportster got with me, Cammy, and Cassidy? That was a fun one. Not everyone got to see that, but if you know, you know. Finally gonna address this stupid Brembo back here. I put this on here because I obviously wanted better braking in the rear. So far it has not done that. It's actually been way worse than the stock caliper. It is definitely not better. I think the problem is since I bought this used, this thing probably just needs a rebuild. That and my stock master cylinder might not be in great shape. So you know what? I'm gonna replace the stock master cylinder, give this sucker a rebuild, and hope for the best. Otherwise, I'm probably just gonna put a stock caliper back on it. I didn't think I was gonna have to break out the equalizer on this one, but here we go. There we go. I'd imagine that had red Loctite on it. Either that or we had somebody very exuberant put this together. There is no Loctite on that. Someone just frickin' hammered that sucker in there that tight. Damn. I've never taken apart one of these calipers before, but, you know, seems straightforward. I assume that this pin comes out, but, you know, I don't really know. I mean, I assume it comes out. It comes out! Oh, whoops. Crud. Oh, there we go. Yep, this thing's just falling apart everywhere, huh? Whatever else happens, this sucker's gonna need some new pads for sure. Focus! 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 Why? What is right here that you would like to see? No, these are right here. Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you, camera. There we go. Yeah, these pads need to be replaced. Hey, look at that. Look who's a smart cookie. Me! That's who. I actually ordered some and I had totally forgotten about it. Go, Josh. Alright, let's see how much of a bear this thing is going to be to rebuild. I think it needs a rebuild. It definitely looks pretty cruddy in there to me. I do have a new rebuild kit with it that I think even comes with pistons. Got new pistons, got grease, got everything I need here. California quiet! Oh yeah, those definitely need to be rebuilt. Uh-oh. Are
you supposed to split this caliper when you're rebuilding it? I don't know how else you would get these things out without splitting the caliper. Well, let's try splitting it and see what happens. Hopefully I don't fucking ruin the thing. Someone please tell me if I'm doing the wrong thing here. See, I don't know if this is sealed like from the factory, like you're never supposed to take this apart or what. I don't know how you'd ever replace those pistons without splitting this though. Seem to come apart pretty easily. Looks like there are some pieces of rubber in there. I don't know if the rebuild kit came with new ones. One O-ring on this side. The O-ring looks fine though. Definitely looks as though there's only that one O-ring. But got them apart now. Might as well put new pistons in it since I'm here. Well, the new ones sure go in a lot easier. That's for sure. Go. Does not look like there was any Loctite on this whatsoever, so I'm gonna stick it back together with no Loctite. Feels like it's right to me. That's pretty damn tight. Probably a torque spec for it, but I don't even know where to begin hooking it up. Ooh, that's not very pretty in there. I could probably freaking salvage this one, but I had another rear master cylinder lying around, so I'm just gonna replace it. Out with the old, in with the new. These guys are short enough that I'm gonna throw a little Loctite on them anyway. Alright, let's bleed them. Alright guys, that's gonna about do it for this one. The Sportster's all done. We got good brakes. We got headlights that are staying up again. Life is good. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and set up that Schuberth and go for a ride. But that's gonna have to wait till Wednesday. This week is gonna be absolutely insane. Today is Sunday. Well, today is not Sunday, but it'll be Sunday when you're seeing this if you're in the Premier Squad. What's up, y'all? And if you're not in the Premier Squad, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps. And if you're on your way to Tampa to come to the Forgotten Angels camp out and get drunk with us all weekend, I'm really looking forward to that too. Can't wait to see you guys there. The camp out starts on Thursday. It's a weekend of March 18th. Literally starts the Thursday after this video comes out. So in a few days, I'll be hopefully hanging out with all of y'all, having some beers and supporting Forgotten Angels. It's always an amazing time. I hope you can make it down. And if you can't make it down, trust me, there'll be plenty of video evidence. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shadetree, army! Shadetree, army! Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shadetree, army! Shadetree, army! Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shadetree, army! Shadetree, army! Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shadetree? Army! Shadetree, army! They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shadetree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.